Welcome to the Doubles Only Tennis Podcast, where you learn the best doubles lessons to improve your game and win more matches while getting to know some of the top doubles players and coaches on the planet. I'm your host, Will Bochek. This podcast, my weekly strategy newsletter, and my website all focus on the goal of better understanding the sport of doubles and helping players like you improve faster through actionable advice that you can use in your very next match. My goal is to provide the best doubles resources in the world. And to do that, I study, analyze, and work with players at every level of the game, all the way up to the ATP and WTA tours. If you enjoy this podcast, consider becoming a Tennis Tribe member to go even deeper and take your doubles IQ to the next level. Members get access to premium podcast episodes, weekly video lessons, monthly strategy webinars, courses, ebooks, gear discounts, and a lot more. Go to thetennistribe.com/memberships to see all the benefits and sign up. Here's today's episode. In this episode, you're going to hear from Nicole Melichar-Martinez. I sat down with her at the US Open. This was before the tournament started. She ended up making the third round with her new partner, Cristina Bucșa. They were coming off a title in Monterey, so we talked a little bit about that. We also talked about how to get started with a new partnership. We discussed the US Open in general, New York. Nikki is a big foodie, so she talks about the food in New York compared to some of the other Grand Slam cities. We also discussed practice. We discussed her goals for the rest of the year and going into next year as well. So this is a pretty short conversation that I've been trying to get out to y'all. I have been super busy here in New York running the doubles camp and meeting with different people. So I apologize for the delay in podcast, but I'm going to have a few more episodes here coming soon from New York. So without further delay, enjoy this one with Nicole Melichar-Martinez. Hey everyone, welcome to the show. Today I'm here at the US Open with Nicole Melichar-Martinez. Welcome back, Nicole.
Hi, Will. Nice to be back.
So our voices are a little bit quiet because we're in the media center, and it is kind of like an office space with a bunch of cubicles with people working really hard, and we don't want to interrupt them. So we're going to conduct this interview a little bit quieter than normal. So Nicole, I wanted to start with your day today. Today's the first day of the women's doubles. You didn't play today. Talk us through what your day looked like.
So I had a practice this morning for an hour. I played points with my doubles partner, Cristina Bucșa. We played some points with Asia, Muhammad, and Demi Shures for an hour, and from 11 to 12, and then 12 to 1, I had an indoor court. So with Carlos, my coach, we went in there and just did some cleaning stuff, did some finishing volleys, overheads, serves, returns, just kind of pattern-specific things I wanted to work on to be ready for tomorrow.
Okay. So can you talk us through some of those drills? A lot of the listeners like to implement some of the drills that the pro players are using as well. So like, how does that work? Where is Carlos set up? How is he feeding?
Yeah, actually, I also had my parents there. So my dad was feeding balls to Carlos. Carlos was on the baseline. I was at the net right in front of him. And we were kind of implementing as if my partner had just hit a ball cross court and my opponent is attacking me at the net. So he was hitting them down the line or at me. Occasionally he went through the middle just to keep me honest, not that I'm only covering myself and the line. But yeah, it was more of, and sometimes the ball would be shorter or the ball would be deeper, and then I would have to read if he can really step in and attack it, or if he's maybe a little on his back foot. So I did some like that. I did returns both from the regular formation and the I formation, because I do know our opponents like to use the I formation. So I wanted to see some serves that way as well. And I also practiced my overhead, but we did it in a way that Carlos was feeding, and he would feed either I would have to like be ready for a volley, or if he lobbed it, I would have to be ready get back quickly. So he was mainly doing lobs over me, but just to make sure I'm not cheating, just automatically going back for the overheads. He would make sure to feed a volley sometimes as well. And something, the ball could go anywhere. It would be through the middle, it'd be at me, maybe a floater, just trying to mimic those on-court situations.
That's smart. I'm going to steal that from him because I do overhead drills with players, and a lot of times they do cheat. They start to move backwards. So I'm going to steal that. I'm going to start using that for sure.
Yeah, he'll maybe mimic like hitting a lob, but then he actually like dinks it short. So it's like a softball right in front of me. So it's like a similar motion, but then the feed is just like very soft.
Right. It makes sense. I mean, that's in a match. You obviously don't know what they're going to hit. So you got to be ready for anything. How does New York compare to the other slams for you?
Well, I think compared to the other slams, we are definitely staying a bit farther, especially the traffic this year isn't great. So it's taking minimum an hour to get here from the city. So I feel like you really need to plan your day according to traffic. Some days I've heard some players it's taking an hour and a half, even 2 hours. Whereas other tournaments, I think, French Open, I'd be on site within, 15, 20 minutes. Same in Melbourne. Wimbledon also depended on traffic. Some days it was 20, some days it was 40, but here it's truly like double. I think there's a lot of people around, obviously being American, and then my husband having worked before in New Jersey, we have a lot of friends around. I have my parents in town, so it's definitely busy. People love to come to the slams and support. People want to grab dinner. You have to occasionally, prioritize tennis and not going to dinner and stuff. Yeah, so that's sometimes difficult because maybe you want to, but you can't. So trying to set the priorities. But
how do you rate the food in New York compared to the other slams?
I think it's the second best. At the tournament. I think Australia still has the best food, but here they do a good job. The grill is very tasty. They have different places where they have things.
What about the city itself?
Oh, the city. I think it's number one or number two. I think you can find anything in New York. And New York's, I think, the best city in the world probably for restaurants.
What's the other number one or number two?
I would say Melbourne. Just the food quality is really good.
Yeah.
London, I've been to some restaurants, but I'm just honestly not the biggest fan of like food in the UK. You find a lot of good Indian food. And then in Paris, the food is good, of course, but I feel like you don't really find such a big variety. Whereas in Melbourne and New York, you have anything you want.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So for people listening, if you haven't listened to Nicole on the podcast before, she has a food Instagram account and is a big foodie. So that's why we go through these food questions.
I haven't been posting on the food Instagram. It's like a second time job. So
it'll come back.
It's hard. It will come back eventually. But in New York, the definite must go to place is Los Tacos #1. And I recommend going to the one in Chelsea's Market because right next to Chelsea's Market, there's Mariscos, which is right next door. And that's like the seafood taco version of the inside Chelsea's Market, the tacos #1. They have the steak, the chicken, the cactus, and then, next door, the seafood one. And the seafood one is actually my favorite.
So I want to transition back to tennis. You just won in Monterey with a new doubles partner, Cristina Bucșa, who is sitting right behind us.
I can't say anything bad. She's spying on us.
Talk about how the partnership formed and then what made it work so well in Monterey. Y'all didn't drop a set when you were there.
Yeah, well, because I've been playing lately a lot with Samsonova, and Samsonova told me she doesn't play the week before slams, and she wasn't going to play in DC. So, and I had spoken with Cristina before, and we had kind of asked each other, but then I think I was set before, and then I asked her for Bad Homburg, and she wasn't playing in Bad Homburg, so we had kind of gone back and forth on wanting to try somewhere together, and it didn't work out. But then for DC and Monterey, she was like, yeah, absolutely. And then at Wimbledon, Samsonova told me that she wanted to focus on her singles here in New York and not play doubles. And because I was playing with Cristina the week before, I asked her to play, and she agreed. So yeah, I think in DC we had a tough match. We lost against Taylor and Shui, and they won the tournament, and they played really well. And it was our first match together. And I think it sometimes takes time to figure out what's working, what isn't. But after we lost there, we had some practices together, both in Montreal and Cincinnati, because we knew we were going to play together in Monterey and US Open. And I think the practices were helpful. And Monterey, just match by match, I think we got more comfortable with each other. I think at first I'm the very extrovert, outgoing, outspoken one, and she's a little bit introvert. And I think as she got more comfortable with me, she started saying more things, and I think we just got better as the tournament went on, communicating and stuff. And I think she even started seeing that I really like feedback as well, and she would be like, oh, like you can play there, or like if I play here you go there. So she was starting to implement some of the things that I was saying, like saying them back to me from her perspective.
How do you do that with a new partnership? How do you kind of ramp up the team chemistry as quickly as possible? Obviously, practicing together helps, practice sets, but I imagine just conversations off the court as well. Do you have like a process for that?
I mean, I think just try and go by feel. I think anybody that maybe feels comfortable around you, maybe, I do it regardless, but wishing her good luck before her singles, or going to cheer her on, show some support from my side, and just being open, and maybe like cracking a joke here and there, whether with her team or like maybe coming from Carlos, just to try and like lighten the mood and, show that, we're people trying to, do our job well, but also have a good time with it. So somehow just trying to break the ice.
I feel like for the last maybe 3-4 years, maybe going back longer, you can tell us you've had at least one title this time of the year in the run-up to the US Open. Do you feel like this is when you play your best tennis, and if so, why?
I think, I do love the US hardcourt swing. I do like the Wilson US Open balls, so I think that helps. I think by this time of the year, transitioning from grass to hardcourt is fairly easy for me. So maybe that helps. I actually have noticed my most successful weeks in the year has been the week before a slam. I've won, Monterey, Cleveland. I've won in Strasbourg and Nuremberg. I've won Bad Homburg, played final in Eastbourne. I've won Adelaide before. So like leading up to slams, at some point I have done well. So I think I take my slam prep very seriously, and just trying to like fine tune things before leading in. I don't know if it always helps for the slam, but at least going in, maybe get good vibes.
Did you watch the US Open mixed? And if so, what did you think? And did you enter?
I did not enter it. However, I think the feedback was very positive. I think it showed doubles can be promoted. Obviously, it was promoted because of big singles names and big singles stars. But I think that just showed that doubles is not a dead product, that you need to market it the right way. And I really hope for next year that they can do it where it's the best, that you can enter on your doubles ranking or your singles ranking. So you get a combination of both. One idea I think would be a lot of fun would be if we could have somehow like maybe a draft, and the women's women's doubles players have to pick a men's singles player, and then the men's doubles players have to pick a women's singles partner. And then you can combine it like this. I think that would be fun if you take, the top 8 from each. That turns into 16, then you get 16 teams. I think that would be fun. It would be inclusive of both roles, and you can see how it would fit. Or, I don't know, some singles teams, some doubles teams, however they want to mix it. But I think a draft would actually make it interesting.
That would be really cool. I'm not sure. So a lot of doubles players this year called it like an exhibition. The US Open obviously called it an actual Grand Slam. And I'm not going to comment on that. But if they did a draft, I would think that'd make it even more difficult to maybe call it a Grand Slam. But I do love that idea. I think that sounds like a lot of fun.
Yeah. I mean, in a sense, you would still be having the doubles players and the singles players playing together. And I would think normally, like drafts go, they're kind of prearranged already who's going to be playing together, but maybe you could do it kind of on a public display, just to another way, I guess, to sell tickets, or to just make it interesting and exciting. Who's Gabby Dabrowski going to pick? Does she want to play with, Felix? Does she, someone from her home country? Does she want to play with Yannick or Carlos because they're top 2 in the world? Like, who do I want to play with?
Who would you pick?
I think I would go with Alcaraz.
It's a good choice.
And I would make sure he has his shaved head.
Just so that the team speed is increased a little bit. Helps with aerodynamics.
Exactly.
That's what Tiafoe was saying. So last question, goals for 2025 for the rest of the year, and then 2026 plans.
Goals for 2025, rest of the year. Obviously, last slam for me starts tomorrow. The double started today, so I want to put my best foot forward here, see how well I can do. And after here, we have the Asian tournaments. I do like those as well, actually. I would like to do the best that I can. My ranking, I know I have points coming off because I had some results towards the back end of last year. And my goal would be to try and keep my ranking inside the top 20. Obviously, try and get another title if I can. I'm still wanting my 1,000 title, which I haven't won yet in my career. So we still have 2 opportunities for those with Beijing and Wuhan. And I think I'll just play till the end and do my best. And for next year, I don't know yet who my partner will be. I have already had some girls reach out to me, and I'm kind of seeing how things are going with Luda, with Cristina, or if I want to go with a doubles player route to only have that option. Because if you play with the doubles player, you can obviously practice together and, do the same schedule. With the singles player, it's a little bit different. But yeah, I think during the Asian swing, that will be part of my homework for next year, is trying to figure out who my partner will be.
Awesome. Nicole, thanks a ton for coming on again, and we'll do it again soon. Best of luck this week.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this week's episode of the Doubles Only Tennis Podcast. If you're interested in diving deeper into the world of doubles strategy, I've created Tennis Tribe memberships that allow me to bring you more podcast episodes, video lessons, webinars, and other doubles content on a weekly basis without relying on paid ads. The lessons inside the membership will help you better game plan with your partner, optimize your practices, and become the smartest player on the court. Go to thetennistribe.com/memberships to learn more and sign up. You can also join my free newsletter on our homepage, where I share a new doubles lesson every week. If you want to connect, you can find me on Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook, or contact me through our website. Thanks again for listening.